Hello, this is Dr. Bob and Debbie DeMaria. Welcome once again to a life-changing half hour of health. Today, what I'm going to be talking to you about is one of my favorite subjects in the whole world, female hormones. I've been so blessed to write a book on female hormones. My wife and I have been passionately married since 1976, and we have a desire to make a difference in your lives. Because even if you're a gentleman, you more than likely have a mom that could be still living, and or a wife, children, daughters, nieces. So we're here to make a difference, and we have had so many wonderful guests on the program over the years. And if you're watching me online right now, if you're watching me in the office, this is very serious. This is a matter of life and death. And Debbie, you can interject anytime you want.
Well, I want to say is that I feel that this is really my life. We're experiencing my life as we talk about this, because a lot of things that started to happen to me as I lived what the American lifestyle was for a long period of time is we noticed what we were doing was crippling really my health. And so we started to search out many things, and then it seemed like we started to get many, many more women patients with female issues. And through all of that, Dr. Bob, we've been able to accumulate years of knowledge to be able to put into that book so that we can make a difference in people's lives. And you know, I have to interject here. It really is not only for females. Males have the same issues, but just in the different gender. And so we flip that over because you can use the information for both male and female and make it a better health for your family.
And we do actually have a chapter in the book on male health, which I'll throw the statistic out, Deb, is that today what we're seeing in our practice is that more men today have low testosterone. I have more patients today that have low testosterone than any other time in our practice. And if your husband or if your friend is, your male friend is kind of passive and doesn't want to participate anymore, you may want to have them give our office a call, read the book. It'll be important. Let me just give it to you very easily and succinctly here. Your brain is constantly sending messages through the body. There's a part of your brain called the hypothalamus, not trying to impress you with big words, but the hypothalamus is like the CEO of the body, telling everybody what to do. You have many forms of communication in the body. As you know, we talk about subluxation in the nervous system all the time. But there's a chemical message system, which are hormones. So your hypothalamus tells the pituitary gland what to do. Think of the pituitary as the maestro, and the percussion's supposed to go over there, and the strings are going to go over there, and the horns are going on in the back. So your pituitary is sending messages also. And then end organs like your thyroid gland and your pancreas. Ladies have ovaries, men have testicles, the adrenal gland, the pineal gland. And I'm not going to get into the detail of every one of those glands in your body. You'll be able to get Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Balancing Female Hormones. That will help you. But I want to briefly talk to you about 2 or 3 very important organs right now, important glands. And then one of the most important ones for female health, and male health, by the way, is the thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland is located here in your throat. And so many times we have patients that will come into the office that have depression, constipation, high cholesterol, fatigue, thinning hair on the top of their head. I ask them if they had their thyroid gland tested, and they always tell me the same thing. They told me it was normal. And I'm not saying that it's not normal. But in the book, I have a chapter on thyroid. And I would encourage you to get a copy of your own thyroid test, get the book, and just investigate yourself. But I want to share with you 2 thoughts. First, stress can affect your brain. We do mineral tissue analysis in our office. It's kind of like doing forensic medicine to your hair. And what I've been blessed to learn over time is that your manganese level and your selenium levels are low in people who are stressed. Those 2 nutrients help that part of your brain that I just mentioned called the pituitary. So if you're stressed, if you don't have minerals, your pituitary can't take the wand and tell everybody what to do. Well, we can test that. And one of the ways we can test that indirectly is through mineral tissue analysis. Well, if your pituitary gland's not telling your thyroid what to do, we have to address that issue. The thyroid is very important. I've read statistics and I've read books about individuals who will make the statement that thyroid function, optimal thyroid function, is a critical ingredient not to have breast cancer. If you have cold hands and cold feet right now and you have wide-spaced teeth and thinning hair, you may want to have an assessment and have a thyroid profile done. Now, there's two important numbers on there. I want you to look at T4, TOM4, and T3, TOM3. If your T3 is on the lower margin of the levels, then you could have some issues of stress in your life. Hear what I just said? Stress. Stress will make you acid, but stress sabotages your body's ability to convert T3 or T4 to T3. One of the body signals of a low thyroid gland, constipation. If you're constipated and you're not having a bowel movement every day, 2 to 3 a day, you say, Dr. Bob, I haven't had a bowel movement in 3 days. You have some major issues, which we have had programs just on bowel function alone. But there's an organ in your body called the liver. Your liver is right here on the right side. Your liver processes estrogen, ladies. If you're not having regular bowel movements, it's putting stress on your liver. Your liver processes the estrogen. 95% of all breast cancers, from my own research, what I've read and learned, is directly related to too much estrogen in your body. This liver is the key. You can say, well, Dr. Bob, what does that have to do with my thyroid? If your thyroid is subpar, you have a greater chance to have constipation. Now, constipation can also occur because of not enough water and not enough fiber. You want optimal thyroid function for optimal female health, Deb.
Well, then, Dr. Bob, you were talking about the thyroid there, but just previous to that, you were saying that there's a relationship between the thyroid and the adrenal gland. So, is it the thyroid or is it the adrenal?
The thyroid gland has everything to do with cold hands, cold feet, bowel function, which does impact liver function. But the other gland in your body, which we'll be sharing about, is the adrenal gland, makes hormones. It makes progesterone. You can write that down. Progesterone, which balances the estrogen out in your body. But some important fact that I'd like you to get right now is that you take a shower every day, or most days I would pray, and when you are in that closed glassed room and you're breathing in chlorine gas, that chlorine can be very toxic to your thyroid gland. So we make available to our patients a shower dechlorinator. I know we use a shower dechlorinator for years, but if you sit in a hot tub, if you swim a lot, the bromine and the chlorine that are in these tools is antagonistic to iodine. And we can test iodine, we can test your urine iodine. That's really important. We also have the ability that we can test for your estrogen. Now I'm going to share something with you that is critically important for your long-term strategy in health. We can do a urine estrogen test. Urine estrogen. Why is that, Dr. Bob? Well, there's 2 types of urine that we'll share in this, or 2 types of estrogen in the urine I want to share with. One is the 16 urine estrogen, and one is the number 2. If you have a high 16 estrogen, that is considered what they call the bad estrogen and have a greater chance to have maybe cancer in your breasts. So when we do the test and you do come back with a high 16 urine, we encourage our patients to eat 3 foods: broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. Why is that, Dr. Bob? Excuse me. Because broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower will help your body lower estrogen, Deb.
So it really will, does it?
It really does.
I don't think people believe us sometimes.
I know when I say that to them. So they're also a great source of protein, broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. So I like to have what we call the swap diet. Start with a protein instead of a pastry. Very fascinating, isn't it?
Well, most people wouldn't think that. It's easier to grab a pastry, Dr. Bob.
It sure is. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back.